Hi, everybody, and welcome back. Oh, my God, we have missed you so much. Look at us here on the right. Reality Podcast. My name is Steven.
And I am Mixie. We are here because we have a very special episode for you guys. We are talking to the man, the myth, the Aussie legend, Troy. We got Troy on, and we had a fucking blast. Shaggy. It was so fun. I actually, I would do this again for hours on end. I can't wait for him to get on another season so we can talk to him about the next season he's on. But for the time being, we talked to him about World Championship. We talked to him about a lot of other stuff. He gave us some tea. He gave us some unseen footage information.
Oh, my God. And he also shit on Mixie quite a bit at the beginning of this.
I get shit on pretty much throughout it, but a lot at the beginning. We got into a scream fight. Maybe turn your volume down a little bit at the beginning.
I'll try to help with the edit where we can. But this was really, really fun. Very exciting. Let's not waste any time. Let's get to it. Troy, the man, the myth, the legend. Basically, get ready for Mixie's introduction. Mixie, introduce it. Let's go.
Okay, guys, it is time. I am going to introduce a man that needs no introductions. He has 2 challenge seasons under his belt, 4 daily wins, 4 for 4 in eliminations, 2 final runs, 1 final win, and 1 terribly cooked pan of bacon. We have Troy Collins here.
And I just want to come to my defense straight away off the bat. I feel attacked. Right off. That bacon was not me. I did not cook that bacon. Yes, I told Darrell I would. Yes, I betrayed him by not cooking it, but it was in fact Darrell. Right from the get-go.
Okay, can we just let's get into the bacon. Why was it even brought up? Were you the bacon guy? What happened?
No, Darrell is the bacon guy. So normally what happens, one thing you might not know about Darrell is after eliminations, he likes a little midnight snack. So he would get in the kitchen and he would cook bacon the whole time. And every single time he would go and cook bacon and then I would have some. Okay, and this time I was like, yeah, cook us some bacon, And obviously he'd just done elimination, so he wasn't happy about that, and he wanted me to cook bacon. So I pathetically walked to the kitchen and started getting the bacon out and not really doing it very, very quickly. and the hungry beast, Darrell, was like, no, you just get away, and he took back over again. And anyway, he'd start cooking bacon and eating it again. But I'd always piggyback on his tradition and eat some of his bacon. But it wasn't me.
Did he cook the bacon like that every time?
Well, a lot of times, yeah. He had a lot of bacon to cook for the house. You got to understand that. And he had to fit it in his pan. All right?
You got to put it in the oven.
Yeah, that's what I heard. You cook in the oven? What are you...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've never had that. And in Australia, that would be absolutely not okay. I'm sorry. You need it cooking in that oil, and you need it simmering in the oil to have good bacon. It can't be in the oven.
But you have a different type of bacon than we do. You're using back bacon, right? You're not using streaky bacon, right?
Yeah, we use shortcut, the good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So that is different. You can cook that in a skillet. Yeah. You can cook that. That's bacon, allowed in the skillet. Yeah. Streaky bacon in the oven. Yes.
Yeah, well, it's shortcut bacon for me.
Okay.
Well,
you should try it. You should try it in the oven.
All right.
We just call it bacon.
I just call it bacon. Yeah, that's what I just call it normally, just bacon. But it's not those crappy streaky bits. They're like the middle bits. Nah, they're no good.
Oh, the good stuff.
Here's the thing. That's all we get over here. That's the only type of bacon we get. We don't get the good bacon that you guys get. We get the streaky part in the middle. And we got to deal with it and pretend like it's better than the other one.
So that's what it is, just pretending. All right, I see. Well, we've got good pigs over here, so we get the good bacon.
Our pigs are bad.
Yeah, you got bad pigs in America.
That's fair.
Some of them were on the TV show that you were part of. Yeah,
they were.
So, yeah, they were.
You met some.
Well, I'm glad you defended yourself. I appreciate that. That was definitely a question we needed to get to because we did call you out, and you did pretty quickly come to your defense via DM. You were like, listen, hey, come on, not me. I have respect for the bacon, and that was not me. So I'm glad we've got that out of the way.
We've cleared your name.
Yeah, it's good that we've cleared that out. Now we can actually move forward with the real stuff people want to know about. So were you even aware of the challenge before the Australian season? Was it on TV there at all? Or were they just like, hey, this is a brand new show that's been on in America for, 35 seasons or something like that. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, no, it wasn't really on our TVs, really, at all. But we did have it on Foxtel, which had MTV, the channel MTV. So
okay. If
you had that program, you could watch it. And then it started coming on Paramount Plus in Australia. And let's be honest, nobody in Australia has Paramount Plus or had Paramount Plus. And even then, it only had like 5 to 10 seasons of the challenge on it in Australia, whereas you guys have like all the seasons. So for me, I did know it, but most of Australia don't have a clue what the challenge was or is. But yeah, I was lucky that I watched it on MTV, and then I was like, oh, this is actually all right. I think I started watching from what's the one with you get the red skulls?
Oh, you've got more seasons than me.
Yeah, so I started there you go. So I started watching from Double Agents. And yeah, I was like, all right, this looks all right. The thing I loved about it is you, unlike Survivor and other things where you just get eliminated or Big Brother, this one you can sort of, if everyone hates you, you can just go on elimination and keep winning and you can just stay in the game. It's like, hey, keep hating me. Good luck. Yeah. I get it. You don't want to be in elimination all the time. But at least you got a chance to defend yourself. And for me, that was a big appeal. It was like, hell yeah, I get to do doesn't matter how much you don't like me or you think I'm going to beat you or whatever, you still have to get me out. Even though you can get some crappy elimination that anybody could lose, at least I've still got a chance to go and win that one too. So,
which you did a few times.
So yeah, I did know about the challenge before leading him.
Okay, so I want to get into the World Championship. I'm going to be honest with you. Just like the people in Australia don't have Paramount Plus, I didn't watch the Australia season. I only watched the World Championship, but I didn't have to because I knew you won. If you hadn't done as well, then I would have.
How does that make it better? I didn't have to because
don't question my logic, Shaggy. I just don't.
I see the way it is. That's all good.
No, it makes sense.
Did you watch my pole wrestle?
You had a pole wrestle in an Aussie? Oh, now I feel like shit.
And you didn't watch it?
Cut all of this.
No, cut none of this. You're not getting away with this, Mixie. This is blasphemy.
Okay, let me pull it up. God damn it. Well, you won. So wait, spoiler alert, you won.
I did. Thank you.
So I didn't need to watch it.
Well, it's about the journey sometimes, not about winning. And I have to say that because we know the results are worlds, and it's not about winning this time.
That one it wasn't. It was just about beating Emily and Sarah for me.
All right. Well, there was a journey on the Australian one too. It wasn't just, hey, I magically walked to the end and won.
Well, you and Kiki were the only ones I was rooting for because you guys actually won, and Mr. Crapbag and Sarah's pocket pussy, as I like to refer to her as, they did not, and they showed up. So I didn't care about them. I cared about the winner.
There you go. You cared about Shaggy.
Shaggy. Do you like Shaggy? Did you like the name Shaggy?
Oh yeah, I do actually.
Good. I'm glad.
Yes! I love it. All the names though. I just love how they're all taking a piss out of everyone, and there's no discriminating here. It's like, no, he is Shaggy. That's Greaseback Bum Babe.
Greaseback Bum Babe.
Greaseback Bum Babe.
It's I call it like I see it, Shaggy is endearing too. He was my favorite character on Scooby-Doo, so take it as a positive.
Well, I was anyway.
Okay, so I want to get into just World Championship since, as previously stated, I didn't watch it, and I will, and I'll DM you all of my thoughts and feelings. I will, every thought I have, I'll let you know.
Can I also come to her defense real quickly? Because I tried to watch it. I got through. See, the problem is they released it so late for us that it was almost impossible for us to start Like, we knew who was on the show before it really aired because we get the press releases. So they're like, oh, here's who's going to be on. I was like, well, I assume these people won their seasons. Why do I kind of need to watch now? And I started to watch, and it was just a very odd situation because we had just watched the season in the same location where you guys were. But now you're doing the same dailies in a different order, same eliminations in different order, but it was a complete new set of people. And I'm trying to get through them all. I'm just like, I can't get through them all before this starts, and we have to start recording the podcast. I was trying my damnedest there to get through everything.
Steven tried. I didn't.
No, that's totally fair. But that's why we've got a month break now. We've got a month break now from the challenge. And I don't care if you watch the whole thing.
Continuously calling us out.
You can just go watch episode 9 and then episode 10.
Okay. Got it.
Listen,
okay,
I really like
that.
the episode I just watched where you just absolutely destroyed that side of the truck, where you're just like, boom, 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 jump off, knock that thing, it explodes everywhere. And Bryony's trying to be like, well, the team with the best time. I was like, it was Troy. You don't need to it was obviously them. It was obviously them. Come on.
I felt like that was swimming for me, you know, how swimming is for Emily, and then that was swimming for me. The other side of the truck. That was my wheelhouse. And you know, I never felt more nervous for a challenge than I did for that challenge, because everyone was like, oh, you're just going to dominate here. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And I was thinking to myself, I better not stuff this up.
Yeah.
So I felt like all the pressure was on me to just not
that's amazing.
fuck it up.
Yeah, because if you fell for whatever reason during that would have just been, you would have been like, I'll just go home. I'll just go home at this point. You know, there's no reason for me to be here.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would have had to. But
yeah.
Anyway, back to World Championships that you actually watched.
Yes. The thing I could actually talk about, educated. Okay. You came second to last in the qualifier. Were you disappointed with your placement? And were you upset with the options of partners you had to choose from because of it?
It sounds so mean.
Listen, you're the one that came in second last.
Hey, look, I know. No, not that part of it. Were you upset with your options part of it? Like, oh my God, who was left was crap. I'll tell you right now, none of the contestants there were crap. It was just who was going to be best fitted with me. And luckily, at the end, I wasn't upset with my options. If I just had Kellyanne, whilst I think we would do really well together, and she's a great competitor, I think we are way too similar. We are both small competitors, and it just wouldn't have worked out. So I was very happy I had Amber still there, because she was one of my top 2 picks anyway, because the way I look at Amber is she might not be the best at everything, but she tries her heart out like I do at everything.
Yeah.
And if you can get her to a final, she's going to do great. You've just got to get her there. And my whole thing, it was like, well, I was happy to just go all or nothing for the win, you know? And that's why I picked Amber in the end.
Yeah, I think she was a good pick for you.
As for coming second last in the qualifier, yes, I was bloody disappointed. I wasn't happy. Do you know how heavy that thing was? And I got stitched up by production. I'm calling them out here, and I'm not afraid to do it. They made my pole really heavy, and they made the top of it in particular even more heavy than the bottom, because it was really top heavy. And they knew that this guy is only 5'7", and he's not going to be able to reach up and push the top up. So the top just kept falling.
That makes sense. So you think your pole was heavier than others?
Oh, well, it might not have been heavier, but I reckon the top of it, the top bit of it was heavy. It was very top heavy, and I'm very short, and that didn't help. That made it feel heavier than others. You know, if the weight was a bit more spread throughout or a bit more in the bottom, I would have got it up a bit better. But, you know, I've never had struggle getting it up like that before. And
hey-o!
That's what she said.
I'll be honest with you, though. I was on that pole for probably an hour and a half trying to get that up. And
on that pole?
I struggled. Yeah, I was on it for an hour and a half trying to get it up.
Hour and a half?
Yeah, a long time, because I got there a lot quicker than everybody else. I was probably like, I don't know, 5 minutes ahead of Grant, and then I'd rolled my pole all the way over and given it maybe a go, maybe 2, before Grant had started rolling his over. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed, but also it is what it is, and I just had to keep trying and get it up, and at the end of the day, I got it up, didn't I? So it was a success, and I didn't come last.
No, you did it, and that's important. That's important to state for the record. If you had come in first, would you have picked Greaseback Bun Babe originally over Amber or somebody else?
I don't. Maybe, but I don't think so. So I was only a recent fan of the challenge. So the people in my radar were Amber, Casey and Tori, but I think I would have picked maybe Tori over Amber, but I think I would have picked Amber before Casey. I think. Just because in my mind, again, I was thinking, I just want to win the final. I thought we would be pairs the whole time. And I was thinking, yeah, Amber can run. She's going to be a beast in the final. I knew she came with a bit of flack. Like I feel like people have gone after her in the past, but I was also willing to wear that too, because I felt like going into it, I was going to be okay politically. I felt like I was. I wasn't in the end. So for me, that wasn't an issue. So I was thinking, yeah, I'll ride with Amber or Tori, because I felt like Tori was like a bigger competitor in terms of the females, and that's what I lacked was size. Yeah. If I was to pick now, I would consider Jodie. Like I probably might even pick Jodie. Well, I'd pick Amber again, hoping she doesn't get pregnant this time. But, I didn't consider Jodie where I should have, because I feel like she's a bigger competitor. She would complement a lot of the things that I lack, and I feel like she'd be good in the final. You just got to get her there as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, you talked about Amber getting pregnant there. So we saw it as you were told in the interview. I have a feeling that more people knew about that before the interview because they had a T-shirt ready immediately for everybody. So when did you really find out Amber was pregnant? Was it before that or in the interview, or was that really the first time that you were told that she was pregnant?
They had a T-shirt ready. What are you going on about this T-shirts?
Greaseback Bun Babe had the shirt swap ready to go.
Oh, no. Yes, no. Okay. Yeah, I see where you're confused. But no, nobody knew. And we knew she had left by then in that interview, but I didn't know why.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know why. So I knew she had left at that stage and she was sick and she'd given me to Casey because interviews are done after. But in that moment when she said she's pregnant, I was the only one to know and the only one she had told. And same with the producers. And then she wanted me to keep it quiet and not tell anybody, so I didn't. And then I think it was they went to the reunion for Ride and Dies. And apparently, I don't think anybody knew. I think that's why none of them knew, was because she'd only told me and I had not told anybody. So it meant that none of them knew as well when I went back to the house. So as for the T-shirt change and stuff, we already knew. Like, we already knew she was gone. We just didn't know why.
Okay. And did you know you were going to get Greaseback Bun Babe as your partner, or you just knew that she was leaving?
As in Amber. So this was after that all happened. You knew
Amber. Sorry, I'll use real names. Did you know that Casey was going to become your partner? Did you know she was going to become your partner once you knew that Amber was leaving? Or was that a surprise when you were on top of that building?
No, that was a surprise too.
Okay.
Yeah, I had no idea.
The T-shirt was ready. So
yeah, I think Amber had spoken to a few people.
Okay.
So I think Amber might have spoken to a few people, and she might have spoken to the producers. I'm not entirely sure, but I had no idea how sick she actually was, because I was under this delusion in my head, I guess, that she was sick and she was pushing through for me, and I was like, let's go, Amber. And I also think that she was like hiding it from me because she didn't want me to know how sick she was, because she didn't want me to worry about her, because that's the sort of person she didn't want me to worry me. She didn't want to upset me. So she was really hiding how sick she was to me. But to everybody else, they were like, oh my God, Amber's stuffed. She's going to leave at any minute. But to me, I was like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, she's telling me all the time that she's fine. It's all honky-dory over here. So for me, going into that challenge, I knew she was sick and there was always going to be a possibility for her to leave, but I had no idea she was going to do it. And especially like when TJ announced that, I was like, oh, shit. And then it felt like TJ paused and then Amber started speaking. I'm like, hold the phone. Like, I felt like I'd been played almost, because I was like, why didn't you just tell me you're going to do this? I was shattered for her because I didn't know why at the time. And I was thinking, oh, you could have just pushed through. You could have done the next challenge. We could have seen how you were. And I really wanted to ride it out with Amber. But after learning why she was so sick. I was just so thankful she did pull out and so happy for her, because to me, that's a lot more important than anything else in a challenge. Like the challenge, you can always just come back and do, or it's just a game show. You get eliminated. It is what it is. Whereas in, having a baby and potentially hurting that.
Oh yeah.
It's like, it is not okay. And so if I had known that from the beginning, I would have been like, see, Amber, like, just take me out with you. It's all good. But, we didn't know that, and she didn't know that until she'd actually left.
Okay,
so she went,
all right.
I think there might have been even in her blood work or something like that they're like, oh, okay. And then they made her do a pregnancy test at the hospital, and then she did one, and obviously it was positive, and then I'm pretty sure she did another one.
What a way to find out.
Positive. So yeah, in South Africa. Hey,
yeah,
crazy.
That's crazy.
So at what point did you find out that the other people coming from your show was going to be Emily and Grant? Did you guys message each other before and figure that out? Were you surprised by that? Because both of them did not make the final of your season. So was that a surprise for you?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise, to be honest. I was expecting Kieran to get a call up, but I knew he hadn't. And when I knew he sort of hadn't, and because there was only like 5 weeks between our
wow.
Our seasons, so I knew that there wasn't much time, and I would have to get on it pretty quick. So when Kieran hadn't got a call up, I was sort of trying to speak to people and find out who, and I did end up finding out, I don't know how, that Grant was coming back on. So then I tried messaging him, but he just ignored me. It was funny because then I saw him at the airport.
And you felt like you were good politically.
Yeah, because I actually reckon he genuinely didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
Grant's that sort of dude. Like, I feel like he just didn't see it. And I was pretty happy with Grant. As for Emily, I knew she was coming on somehow as well, and I actually ran into her in Melbourne before that, and we went out and did this like fashion show thing and watched people, and then we went somewhere afterwards and we caught up there a little bit. So yeah, I knew they were coming on beforehand.
Okay.
So yeah, I did think I was okay politically, but yeah, I also, even while I was out, it just felt odd. Like
it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't feel right. You know how when people are acting normal around you and they're not, and they're trying not to give you information or anything. And I was like, okay, that's a bit weird, but that's all right. We'll ride it out and we'll see what happens when we get on there. So.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask you, going into the season, did you think she was going to approach the game the way she did? Because like you're saying, it kind of seemed like you and Kiki were like, yeah, Aussies, like we're all in this together. And it seemed very obvious that Grant and Emily were not a part of that pretty early on. Did you, like, as you said, you kind of had an inclination that was going to happen. Were you surprised at how she approached the game?
No, not really. Like now, especially now at the end, now that I've seen her play the game again, and her on podcasts and other things where she says things and she says it the way she sees it, but I'm just like, man, that's not how it happened. How can you come to like that conclusion type thing? I think that's just she just comes to different
her and Sarah are very similar in that regard as well.
Yeah,
it's funny how that works. Two peas in a fucking pod, those two.
So for me, coming on, I was a little bit surprised, but I was also, because we hadn't seen the Australian season yet either and how it played out.
Okay.
But I also wasn't, because I don't want to go into it too much because I hate focusing on the negatives, but a lot of stuff happened in the Challenge Australia, and it was very, very, very personal. Like, not with me and her, but with her and this other group, and they were going at it, and things were said, and it was like well and truly pushing the bounds, and it was got to the point where they being the Bedroom Alliance, which if you haven't seen the Australian one, it won't make much sense, but anyway, they were all in the one bedroom together, and they got to the point where
I'm aware of who you're speaking about. Yes.
Yeah, they literally didn't leave their bedroom for like ages, or if they did, they'd leave it for maybe an hour to go to the gym together and then go back to their bedroom. Like they were barely even saying hello to anybody else.
Got it.
I was one of the few people with Marley who were the only ones still saying hello to them, going up, visiting their bedroom, and whatnot. So I felt like, I would maybe be on good terms with Emily and Grant heading in, and even Grant now, I feel like I'm still on good terms, but I also wasn't about to, go head over heels and trust them fully with everything, because I still felt, a bit off with Emily before the season even started. And I was like, I got to keep a close eye on that. And thankfully I felt like I did, but it didn't matter.
Have you heard from her since the season wrapped or since it aired? Like, has she talked to you at all?
Yeah, she did. She reached out to me. Like, I did a post on Instagram, which apparently was throwing shade. What was it?
I don't think you could throw shade if you tried.
I said something like, Kellyanne tagged me in a story, then I just repeated that story and then just said, but she wouldn't vote in Aussie or something, was what I said on it. And that was throwing shade. So sure, it's throwing shade. Which I don't, which I think, she wouldn't vote in Aussie. That's the thing, is like, if she had this Aussie pack, she wouldn't, but she would get other people to do it for her. And that's where the trust for me broke down, because she can say what she wants. I would never vote in Australian, but I'll tell you right now, she would do it in a way that you wouldn't know was coming. Like, she would tell other people. And I thought I was going crazy. And I think it was
the very first episode where she got Sarah's group to put Kiki in.
That's exactly what she did.
I knew that was happening. I wasn't happy with it, so I had to play off like it was cool, because I wanted originally to go after the Argentinians. That's how I felt, and I said it in this group meeting we had. And I thought when we had that group meeting, we were only going to vote one name. So then they're like, nah, we kind of want to go after Kaz. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm happy with that too. Because as long as it wasn't me or our team at that point, I didn't really care. So we go after whoever. But I was like, if we just make one enemy with the Argentinians, that'd be the play. But I'm talking about later on, in like when Amber and I voted for Emily and Yes, and then Sarah and that episode, part of the reason we did that was A, because we felt like we couldn't trust that side, and B, we'd heard from a lot of people that they were going to vote us. And it wasn't even shown in the edit that's what like Danny and Sarah were all going to do. And then I listened to a podcast literally 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, and Danny come out in that podcast and said, we were going to vote Troy and Amber. So I was like, there you have it. So it was warranted. Like, maybe if it was Emily had nothing to do with it, maybe, I don't know. But I feel like whatever Sarah was doing, Emily knew about. So
yes,
they were like this in their room, like in their room all the time. So
did you feel like it was weird? Because at least for us, there was, everybody kept talking about, Team Australia, or Team UK, or Team USA. And I'm like, but you're not. At no point has TJ said you guys are on a team here with each other, but we're trying to have teams. Was that like a thought process that, okay, these are kind of loose teams in terms of the TV show, but realistically we're all playing for each other and I can't really trust, half of my alliance realistically?
Yeah, it was like, you knew it was Team Australia, but it was also like, oh my God, because part of the trouble I had with then voting in Emily and Yes, that thing was, it was like, I don't want to be the first one to go against my country either, because A, you don't know how they're going to edit it, and then B, you don't know like how it's going to go with other competitors. Are they going to be like, oh my God, he was meant to be riding with them and now he's not, he's a snake, like he's just going to go from person to person, and he's just going to go from alliance to alliance, and he's not going to be reliable. So you think and worry about that. But, by that stage, I knew that my alliance did not have my best interests at heart. I was literally at the bottom of the pecking order. Like when it comes to finally, if we were going to be top 8 or whatever, with Ben as well included, I knew Ben and me would just be put against each other. And they would try and keep throwing us in, and they'd keep Grant, Emily, and Sarah and Danny safe. Like they would stay as a 4. So I knew there wasn't much room to move. And if I didn't act soon, I would lose all the numbers I could work with that I felt like I could trust more than my own country. So that's why I was okay, I'm going to go
1,000%.
Because I felt like I couldn't trust them. And like, just, I feel like Sarah, I could trust to an extent, but she'll always look after herself before anyone else. So it's like, maybe not. And it's like, Danny.
No.
And it's like, Danny, I like Danny, and I love Danny, so I could work with him, but same again, like they're survivor players, and I don't blame them for it. It's their thing that
the
they
nature
will
of the
look after
game they
themselves
play
first.
Yep.
And yeah, and that's fine. Like that's all good. But that's where I like them in the sense that I know what I'm going to get from them, and they will tell you if you're fine. But it's when you stop hearing that you're fine that you're like, okay, you probably know you're not fine. So it's good in that sense. I feel like at least they were honest enough for that. But yeah, my own country, like Grant, I was happy to run with because I felt like Grant, he'd tell me if there was something wrong beforehand, and he'd be like, oh man, I'm just going to have to put you in. I'll be like, shit, cheers, or whatever it is. But he would actually protect me a bit. But the second Grant left, I was like, oh man, like me and Emily don't see eye to eye. I feel like if she has a chance, she's going to try and get rid of me. And that's just the way I felt.
She tried, for sure. I want to talk about, you switched from Amber, as we talked about before, to Greaseback Bun Babe. What was your relationship like with her before being matched up, and how did it change once you were matched up? And then also, are you guys still in contact now?
Yeah, I still message her. I'm going to the States in July. So July 20th, I think I head over there for like a month. And then I head home August. So I'm hoping to catch up with her when I'm in the States, and Amber and a few of the other people I met while I'm over there. So I do try and keep in contact with her or a lot of the players I played with a bit. As for me having much of a relationship with her beforehand, I'm going to be honest, we didn't talk much beforehand. we really didn't, because she was with Ben and I was really close with Ben. So I was talking more to Ben rather than Casey for game sorts of stuff, for the gameplay and all the rest of it. So the only times I'd really talk to her were almost with Ben there. Other than that, if that hadn't have been the case, I really wouldn't have had a relationship with her at all. But because I had spoken to Ben and occasionally while Casey was there, I did have a bit of a relationship, but not much. So when we got put together, I was like, oh, God damn, how's this going to work? But at the same time, I knew that we had very similar mindsets, like with eliminations and everything else. So I was like, we're gonna be okay. So,
well, I'm really glad that even though you were friends with Ben, you did not get poisoned by Sarah when she poisoned Ben.
Oh, I did get poisoned.
She poisoned you too?
I was sick too, yeah. And Tristan, like we were all sick in that room. I should have ran. I shouldn't have hopped in that room to begin with. Hey, that was poor gameplay on my part. But
Steven said that. Why'd you stay in that room?
Well,
get out, my guy.
Well,
get out.
You know, Nathan actually got sick, and I was sleeping in the hallway room, and it was crap, and I wasn't getting good sleep. So I was like, you know what? It had been about a day or 2 days after Nathan had left. I'm like, I'm going to go in that middle bed. They weren't sick yet. So I was like, I'm just going to go in that middle bed. I'm going to get a good night's sleep. And I got a good night's sleep. And I was on top of the motherfucking world, Stephen. Don't you be there with your hands over your head. I was on top of the world for those 3 days that I had good sleep. And then the sickness started to get to me as well. So I eventually did come good. But yeah, look, it might have been poor gameplay going into that room. But I also got the least sick out of all of them, and I bounced back the quickest. So,
That's a ninja warrior in you. What was this sickness? What was this mystery illness that they would not discuss?
Probably COVID, to be honest.
Yeah,
we got COVID tested. We got COVID tested, but we all got negative results. But it was COVID-y. So whether it was a flu or a COVID that was just coming up negative on rapid tests, I don't know. But
it was COVID adjacent. Okay.
It was a COVID type of illness. It was like a flu. It was a bit lungy. It was a bit coughy. It was just crap. And it made your like head very, very like misty almost, like you couldn't think straight.
Yeah.
And that played a factor when we were all really, really sick, because we didn't sort of get really sick till about episode 5, I think it was, just before the trivia. And that's when the whole house just got so sick. And actually, like, we were in there. I think they delayed the challenge by maybe a day or two. I forget the amount of days, but they did delay the challenge for a while to try and get us better. And in the end, they just dragged us out to do this trivia. And then I had this swap-in partner, and then I was trying to think of, like, because at that stage I had an alliance with Ben Hahn, Jody and all that. And I'm like, oh my God, this has like thrown everything to the shit pretty much, because we had numbers no matter who lost at that stage. And then because Ben and Ben and Amber left, like that was an entire number, an entire vote that we didn't get. And even
I think
in
we
the middle,
talked
you could
about
see
that.
we still could stalemate it in the middle.
Yeah.
Even though we had lost a number. Whereas if we had that one more number, we could have just put in whoever we wanted still. So that changed the whole game. Amber's baby making plays before she's even born. getting
Make
our
him
numbers
vote.
gone.
Make
Pardon?
him vote. Make him vote.
Yeah.
On a scale, you just talked about the you just talked about the stalemate. On a scale from 1 to 10, how pissed was production about the stalemating?
Oh, the first one?
Yeah.
Well, they made us vote like 20 times for the first one, like re-vote, like so many times, and they were just nobody was budging. That was for the first one where Wes and Zara lost. Yeah, we just weren't budging. Like nobody was budging. They're like, all right, let's do a revote, and we did a revote, and it was the same. It's like, all right, let's do a revote, and we did a revote, and it was the same. Let's do a revote. They did a revote, and it was the same.
It's like I don't think you guys realize we're not like what do you think we're gonna do here?
Yeah, I don't think they were pissed per se, but I don't think they wanted it that early in the game and us to know what a stalemate was. And I think that's a credit to like Danny and Sarah, to be honest, because they were like, oh, we don't care, we're just going to keep stalemating. And same with me. Then that's where I rode for Emily really hard. So I found it very surprising to hear rumors the next one that they were going to say my name, which turns out she wasn't, but apparently Danny and Sarah were, which I finally had confirmation for the first time ever on a podcast. Like, what, 2 weeks?
I'm sure that felt
2 weeks
good
after
to
the
hear
show,
that.
so, yeah, it was nice. Like, I felt like it was happening, but I thought I was going crazy. It turns out I wasn't. But either way, I do feel like I was at the bottom of their alliance. Anyway, so for me, it was, as I said, I needed to start making new relationships with new people and look after my best interests and not other people's.
I want to ask about the dailies here before we move on to around the final. So, I mean, I've watched a few of your Ninja Warrior runs. They're absolutely insane. So you've done some pretty cool stuff on there, amazing obstacle courses, things that even I, as probably an 8-year-old, could never have done in my entire life. And most people who go on the challenge don't get an opportunity to do things like that, especially, in their entire life. So coming into the challenge, most of the dailies, you're probably like, I've done crazier shit than this, just training and getting ready. So was there any daily on your season or on World Championship that you were like, okay, this is a next level of cool that that only the challenge can really bring to me?
You know what? You are right, because I do, and I do like a lot of cliff jumping. I don't know if you see my Instagram too. So I jump off cliffs, and I love that shit. Anything that like gets your adrenaline going, I'm about it. So for me, that's what I found appealing to the challenge as well. And my favorite challenge that I couldn't do anywhere else, that I could never recreate, and I just wish it was longer or there was more to it, because it was such a cool idea and it was so fun to do, but it just didn't really play like that on TV. And that was the Transformers one with the truck. And you just,
I knew it.
Like, because, well, you get that truck going, you're like literally on a moving truck. Yeah, you're safe as houses with a harness, but you're on a moving truck, you're jumping to another moving truck, you're grabbing this key, and then you're jumping back, and then the back literally explodes, and the jip rock and the door falls, and then Casey flies out in her car. Like, it was sick to do. It was so much fun. Like, some people like airing out the back and just landing it, and it was like, it was just such a cool challenge to do. And then I watched it on TV, and I was like, oh man, that didn't come out the way I thought it would.
No, it didn't.
It did not.
It did not.
And I don't know whether it was editing or whatnot. And it wasn't a very good challenge in terms of finding the difference between skill as well, because literally everybody just ran as quick as they could and got back. And it was like, a 20-meter thing for the run. Like, it was not long.
Yeah.
So you'll split by like less than half a second there. And then all the girls, all the girls, because it was Darrell who didn't put his foot down, literally put their foot flat and didn't take it off. So it was like, who wins? Like, it had nothing to do with skill. It had nothing and that was frustrating for a few of the challenges for me, especially from the Australian season, because I felt like the challenges weren't as extravagant, but there was all skill differential. Like, there was skill, it was the reason you won, or memory, or whatever it was. There were reasons you won. Whereas on Worlds, there was only a few, like the hoop one, which involved a bit of skill. The first one, was a bit of skill, but that was luck too, because they told us the puzzles were like easy and hard, and they were all freaking easy. I'll tell you that much. It was just like a dot puzzle, and you just said, "Oh, that was all so easy." And if you had to drag your rope further, that chain was so heavy. So no matter what, you should have picked the closest puzzle. Mm-hmm. But dumb me was like, I don't want to get caught up on a puzzle. Let's be workhorses, Amber. Let's just get the furthest one. It's going to be an easy puzzle. But they're all the bloody same. They're all easy. But yeah, so other than like a few challenges, I felt like even like the Gates of Hell, it wasn't really like those gates took so long to close. Cool. And then the next one, we're like, oh, sweet, we got plenty of time. And then they just closed straight away. I was like, what is this? Surely we're doing a redo. 9 teams just dropped out. And me and Em were like right there at the gate. Oh, I was not happy with that one, because I felt like then that one now became random if you won or not. And I just felt like the whole season for me, the challenges were cool to be a part of and they were a bit of a spectacle, but there wasn't the greatest skill differential. Like I would have rather do harder challenges that seemed less boring, but they had a separation in who won and who lost, and it was clear, and it was like, okay, yeah, they were definitely the better team, or they were definitely the bottom team. And I felt like, for me, this season wasn't quite that. Yeah. Like, the trivia was good in a way, but even then with the sabotage, like, you could just get sabotaged out of it.
Yeah. And it's luck based a little bit too. It's like some of the questions are not the exact same level of difficulty that the other ones are, and you're just like, come on, But you can get that, and I don't know, I feel like I'm just whinging, but you can get that. But it's like it is what it is, So I would have liked a lot more skill based stuff, where I feel like I would have a better chance to either shine or be like, oh, god damn it, he's better than me, I lost. Whereas I felt like a lot of them, I was like, that sucked. Like, especially like that truck one, it was great to do and it was so much fun and I had a ball. I thought I'd won. I was like, I was so fast up there. I've won. This is the greatest. And I saw everyone else go. I'm like, oh, how do you separate this? Like,
yeah.
My other one I loved was the crane one with the smoothie. And we had to shoot rings because I reckon that involved a lot of skill. And I don't know. I just love weird shit and that was fun. Like spinning whilst you have to shoot stuff. Even like the whole day watching Wes fail was hilarious. I'm sorry, Wes, but it was funny because like he's so confident, and then he just got there and he just couldn't throw a hoop to save his life. Zara was struggling to throw him up to him, and but anyway, that was a really fun challenge. And then seeing Kiki just like, boom, she just necked that crap. That was incredible. Like it was just a good day.
She's awesome. I love her.
Yeah, I love Kiki too. Even though I felt like I was looking after Kiki more than she was looking after herself at times. but man.
I want you two back on the next season for sure. I want to go to your eliminations. Was out of the 4 you did you have a favorite out of them?
Yeah, the one you didn't see.
I was leading you to the hall brawl, or when you fell flat face into a wall. What'd you think? It was made of marshmallows?
Bro, you trying to kick that wall. They did you dirty in the edit, man. It was like, and then it was like, yeah,
that was really funny because the first wall I thought was going to be like the wall that I hit later on. Yeah. So I hit it with heaps of gusto and knocked over 1,000,000 bricks, and I was like, oh my god. And so I got to the next one thinking, oh, it's not going to be that bad. Seeing the first one was such a dud. And then I got to it and I was like, I'll just kick this open. Oh crap. But it actually was really hard to kick open. Like it was really hard wall.
Yeah, they did you dirty in that edit, man. That editor got you dirty.
And I was really surprised Emily picked me for that. Well, I wasn't, but I sort of was, because even listening to her now, because she's like, oh, we're going after Jordan and Kaz and rah, rah, rah. It's like, were you?
I know. You
could have went after them then. You had the power. You could have put them in. But anyway.
Or every other week before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you've watched the show, don't let Jordan get to a final with a strong partner.
And like us, and she knew I was good at maths too, and there were ropes there, and I was like, man, I don't know why. Like, I don't know. I guess she wanted me out because I voted against her, and I wasn't going to work with her, and I wasn't ever going to work with her in that show from that point onwards, and she knew that. So
because
I guess
of her.
Sense. Yeah, but I guess it makes sense for her that she wants to get rid of me because I'm not going to work with her. So it's like, I want to get rid of somebody that I'm not going to work with. But I think at that stage in the game, I don't know, maybe she should have gone after final threats, but maybe she saw us as a final threat too, because I saw her and Yes as a final threat, because I reckon if they had got to the final, they would have done really well. So that was part of the reason for me choosing them in the Hall Brawl as well, and I also felt like it was our best chance at winning. And you know what? She'd been shitting on me all season, from up on top of that stage, from the shadows, from the safety net of her alliance. She'd been absolutely crapping on me, sending me into eliminations, and I was like,
Shaggy.
You know what? I've got the power now.
Yeah.
Get on down here. Get on down
come
here.
on down.
You know, come take the trash out yourself, if that's what we are to you. so yeah.
Had you seen a Hall Brawl in the seasons that you watched?
Oh, yeah, of course. Who hasn't?
Were you so excited?
Probably Mixie probably hasn't, but everyone else will.
Heroines!
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, who hasn't? Yes, I'd seen a Hall Brawl before. And it was Theo's one, where he versed I forget who, but he ended up losing and then coming back and winning. And I'd seen the one with Fessy and Nelson, so I knew what it was, and I actually and still have prepared for a Hall Brawl the best you can, because I feel like that would be something that I would struggle with, being my size. But thankfully I had Yes, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll change my strategy, because I've got Yes. I will try and win the normal way, because I felt like I could. Because I don't know, I just felt like I was stronger than him. Whereas if I had a verse Danny, I've thought about it for so long that I've got a strategy that I think might beat him. But...
Are you going to tell us?
No way. No, I can't tell, because if I tell you guys, then people will use it against me. Like, I feel like...
That's smart.
You know, I feel like I could maybe weasel it. And if I lose, it doesn't matter, because I've got nothing to lose. Like, if I lose to Danny or someone like that, everyone's like, oh, well, yeah, of course, he's going to lose. But I love proving people wrong and surprising people. And I feel like the pressure would be on him, because he'd be like, I cannot lose, because imagine losing to this 5'7" guy. I'm a professional footballer type thing. But for Yes, I was like, oh, I just need to do like the normal strategy of out wrestling and out running and out being harder, I guess.
Yeah, you had a good strategy with it. You were just low and steady with it.
And I knew if I got low, I felt like I had to wrestle a bit, because I know that Jordan or even Danny said, oh, don't make it a wrestle in there. But I say I have to, because I'm smaller, I'm lighter. If I just make it a pushing contest, even if I'm the same like lowness of it, I'm probably going to lose. So I need to A, get low, and then B, just make a little bit of a wrestle where I can, you know, use my core strength from ninja and gymnastics and all that, and twist him a little bit off balance a little bit, so that then I can push him a bit further and take a bit of his weight advantage away. So anyway, I had thought long and hard about a Hall Brawl, and it was one thing I always wanted to do, but I also didn't want to do, because as I said, if I got Danny, chances were pretty high that I was getting flattened. But you know, I had thought about if I'd verse somebody like a Danny or a Fessy, you know, I can think of a million ways I could lose to them, but I just need the one way I could win. And I'd thought about that one way that I could win against people. And hopefully I'll get a chance. Well, hopefully I won't get a chance to use that, but hopefully I do, because it means
I want
I'm
you
back
on
the
another
show.
season. Yeah, I need you back.
Show. But if I'm in a Hall Brawl, it means I'm in a Hall Brawl. So that's not much good either.
Yeah.
So I sort of hope I get to do it again, but I also hope I don't. I don't want to do a Hall Brawl again. I've done it once. I'm one and done. Hall Brawls. Don't put me in there again. Thank you. Signed, sealed, delivered.
For the record.
Because I know everybody listens to this podcast.
Yes, as they should.
I know, and they're going to listen to it. They're going to be like, oh my God, Troy's asking to go in a Hall Brawl. And then they're going to put me in a Hall Brawl.
Well, we know production listens to this podcast, because whatever we say on here, they do, or they change things based off what we say. So let it be known, production, he doesn't want to do it again. So we look forward to the very first thing he's in next time.
Yeah. First elimination for Troy Beck. Yeah, I'll see you in there. I'm going to die laughing when I see your ass in a Hall Brawl again.
But you didn't see my pole wrestle.
No, I didn't, but I'll see you in a Hall Brawl.
You need to go see that pole wrestle.
I will. I'll do it as soon as we're done.
I got banged and bruised, and I was against a bloke Danny's size. 6'3" he was.
But you won.
I did. You know that because you know the results. Don't act like you saw it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't watch it.
God.
But yeah, so I felt like the pole wrestle was a lot harder for me.
Mm-hmm.
Quick follow up on the hall brawl. In the middle of it, when you're kind of in that moment of where you're both on the ground wrestling with each other, are you able to hear the people up on the stands? Can you hear what they're saying? Or are you kind of in that mode where it's just kind of like noise that you're just hearing sounds and you can't really hear strategy at all? And I guess that's the same for the other eliminations as well. Is it just noise, or are you able to understand what people are saying to help you out?
It's really funny you say that, because when I compete, I normally block out all the noise, especially in like a hall brawl, and I did in a hall brawl, and even my pole wrestle, I did. But in my other two eliminations, I blocked it out a bit, but I always kept an ear open for it, because I knew that in those eliminations, they could actually help, and their advice could be good. Whereas I felt like in a hall brawl, their advice ain't going to be much, because by the time they say, oh, you need to get lower, you probably should have already been lower.
The other person's already heard it too, or something like that.
Yeah,
as
they've
well.
heard it too, so it's like, there's no point. So in a hall brawl, I did not hear anybody, but in the other ones, I was listening out for help if I needed it, and I don't think I, in the end, really heard much. Like, but even when I hit the Jip Rock wall, I heard Emily up there say that line of, did you guys test this? I was like laughing to myself and like, oh, that is so embarrassing for me. But, then Greaseback Bum Babe then had a shot and did the same thing. So
yeah, she did. She made you look better.
Yeah, so I was like, thank God. I was like, thank God, because that would have been bad.
Well, since you're the first person we've had on the show that has been part of a hall brawl, I'm letting you know we are sending our hall brawl shirt to you, my friend.
Hall Brawl Club! Let's go!
Hall Brawl Club.
I like how you got the bike helmet on there now, because they had full face helmets.
Yeah, well, this is what it used to be. This is like the regular helmet of the show. But yeah, they started giving people like the full face guards because people getting eyes blocked out and stuff like that. But we'll get your address after this, and we'll send you a Hall Brawl Club shirt.
That sounds sus. We'll get your address. I'm on.
Yeah. There'll be a shirt and maybe some other things. Who knows?
Some bacon, some good old American bacon from our bad pigs.
You're bad pigs.
Bad pigs.
You got bad pigs.
I want to get into the final. I have a burning question that has been on my mind, and I honestly feel like others when we watch the final. Please tell me that someone roasted TJ for that fucking train conductor outfit. There had to have been at least 10 minutes of people saying shit to him, right? Please.
I'm sorry.
Nobody said anything?
I love it. It looks sick. No, I'm kidding. Nah, nobody said anything. I think we might have joked about it maybe after he left, but I don't think we ever said anything to him or while it was filming, really.
Were you like in shock? Was it just like all of you were just in such shock and awe of the fit that you couldn't respond to it?
To be honest, for me anyway, it was more like we just got introduced to this thing called the Fear Express, and we knew it, and I was like, oh my God, it's about to end in this night segment. This train comes past, and you see this like you saw like the dining eating area, and then you saw this like hospital beds and these needles and drip bags everywhere, and you're like, oh God. And then you get to like the other end of the train, and you're just trying to remember like every little bit of like information on the train. Everyone's doing the same thing, like the name of the train. You're trying to remember the number of the train. You're trying, because we're thinking we're going into this final. We're about to get quizzed on this train. We're not going to get sleep. We're about to get tortured.
Did you walk through all the different cars?
No, we didn't. No.
Okay.
When it drove past, we saw it all.
Oh, you saw it
window.
all. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and we're like, oh my God. We're like, at that stage, I was so concerned about the final. I was thinking this was going to be the most deathly thing ever. Like, it's a Fear Express. It's going to be spiders or snakes or something in there while you sleep, and they're not going to let you sleep. And I was thinking so much about all that I didn't have time to bag TJ. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, the floor is yours now. Do you want to bag him now?
Nah. I like TJ. Man, if you stood in front of TJ, you wouldn't want to bag him either. And I might have to stand in front of him again. And he's going to say, if I have to stand in front of him again, I bag his conductor outfit. He's going to call me out on it. Just like you call me out in the bacon, you know? It's going to happen.
That's true.
I'm not going to be able to explain myself.
You won't be able
gets
to.
off scot-free from me this time. Call me a pussy. Call me what you want. But I'm sticking by it. I'm not bagging TJ.
Long-term game player. I love it. Honestly, genius
That's
move.
a big brain move.
Big brain.
Big brain move. Would you have picked up TJ and thrown him in the mud like you did for Bryony in that mud pit thing?
I would have loved to, but I wouldn't have because he's a scary man.
Is
He's scary. Oh, yeah, he's scary, I reckon. He's a bit intimidating.
His hand thing and the way he looks at you sometimes.
He's like evil, you know. I feel like if I did that to him and he didn't let me, he would I don't know, he would find a way to make sure I lose the next challenge or I end up in a hall brawl or something like that, you know. He'd somehow punish me.
Oh, that's
so no, I wouldn't do that to TJ.
Okay. Understood. I saw you guys did that and I was like, whoa, that's a big move there.
Yeah, Bryony was pretty fun like that though. Like,
yeah,
they allowed us to have a bit of fun with them a bit, so we got to chuck them in, and
that's awesome.
And not what that one's better than the other, but they were just different hosts with different strengths and weaknesses. And
were you surprised that Bryony was not a bigger part of your guys' season and the other hosts?
Yes and no, because I think they wanted it to be more like the original challenges and a bit more US based, and I think they might have been worried how the other hosts would be received internationally. Like, imagine if another host took over from the challenge that you guys had no clue about. It'd be like, which is what you said, like you really didn't have much time to watch the other seasons either. So I think for them, they were like, oh, if we change up too much, it will feel like maybe they're trying too hard or people won't appreciate new hosts. So I just thought they played it a bit safe.
Got it.
Which is fine.
Got it. Yeah.
They just showed up for one day and then they got kicked.
Yep. But they knew that heading into it.
Okay.
They're like, hey, here's our competitors that we played a season with, and out.
See you later.
See you later. You get to laugh at everybody vomiting, drinking those drinks, and that's all you get here.
Yeah.
That's all you get. You get a plane ride back. Yeah. So back to the final. Legend has it that you carried Greaseback Bun Babe 17 miles up that mountain both ways in the snow. Can you confirm that report?
Look, I think it was about 30 miles.
Right.
I think there was. I think it was through water as well. About waist deep water for some of it.
Some crocodiles in there too.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I walked over fire at one stage.
Right.
And hot coals, but I can confirm that all that happened.
Yeah.
See, we just get to the main crux of what people want here at The Right Reality. Yeah.
I was going to ask if you could tell us about parts of the final that we didn't see, but I guess you just did. There was fire.
There was fire. Yeah. All sorts of crazy stuff.
This is we're breaking a world exclusive here. There was a fire pit that they walked over.
There was lightning. Like, we had to go through a lightning field that was striking randomly.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's where Casey got hit, and that's why Casey was struggling. She actually got struck by the lightning, and nobody else did, you know?
That's why. Because they didn't really tell us why she was struggling, so it was the lightning. All right.
Yeah, definitely. So.
It's the grease on her from her bun. The lightning kind of fucked it up.
Attracted it.
Big time conductor, that grease, No,
in all honesty, though, there was about 10 miles of the final cut out at the start where we had to start from the train stopped. Oh, God knows where. But anyway, it stopped. I think it was where we did the day 2 of the final. So it stopped there and we had to run straight up this mountain and sort of across it over to this dam wall. It was probably about a 5-mile run. And then when we got there, we had to change into wetsuits. So your time sort of stopped and you had to get changed into wetsuits and harnesses. And then you had to go over through this river up to this dam, and then you had to scale a dam. With this rope, while there was water coming down, so you had to climb up, and then you guys sort of got
that.
Yeah, it was sick, and then you sort of had to
that sounds dope.
Walk over this dam, and then you were obviously in the water then, and then you had to undo your harnesses and whatnot, and then you had to swim out to 4 puzzle pieces. It was like a tanagram puzzle, but there was only 4 pieces. It was super easy tanagram, and then you had to grab those 4 puzzle pieces and then run probably, or walk or run, you couldn't really run. It was like up a hill like that. You actually saw a bit of a clip of it in the Loops of Hell. Like they advertised it as the Loops of Hell.
I was like, where is
like
this rocky cliff that they're allegedly going through?
It was cooked. So then we had to walk up that cliff with the puzzle pieces to then make the puzzle. And then that's when we got our flag. And then we had to run from our flag all the way back to the start. So it was about 10 miles of running, maybe a 100, 200 meter swim, and then climbing up a dam. And it all got skipped. So then by the time we get to Loops of Hell and you see people walking straight away, that's why. That's why.
That
which,
makes
I don't know.
more sense.
I feel like they should have flicked over that. Like they should have showed some of it and just said, hey, they could have just been like, hey, they've already done all this stuff, and now on to the Loops of Hell. And they could have just spent a minute on it, and it would have been cool. Because they would have had sick footage of the dam.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
I'm more pissed if I'm the production manager and the director of photography that I set up these cool drone shots with the water and I strap GoPros on the side of this dam and they don't get used. I would have been like, what the hell? We're on Paramount Plus. We don't have to like fit this within an hour and a half of television. Let's just make this a 3-hour final.
Oh, and I wish they had like what missed out on the show, because there were so many fun moments in that house that didn't get shown that would have made great TV.
What were some of the things? Let's go.
My favorite one was when I came back home one night after a night out, and then Tori taught me how to do a striptease. So then I did a striptease for everyone at the house, and it was fun. So Tori like did a striptease.
I need this immediately.
And then
oh god,
yeah, and then she taught me, and then I did one for everyone. So it was really.
Have you seen this footage? Do you have it?
I don't have the footage, but I seen it, and it was great because I got a bit excited. I'm not gonna lie, I got really into it because I had a few drinks, and I was like, yeah, this is fun as. And I pushed the camera dude over and like throttled him, and I was like almost like thrusting my hips, and he was still filming from below, and it was
I need it.
And I saw the footage, and it was such a good angle, and everyone like around me, I think Yes was up at the time and a few others, they had like a whole bunch of toilet rolls that they'd broken up into squares, and they were like like it was cash. So God. In the footage you see me like straddling and then sort of thrusting my hips, and then just all these toilet rolls coming out like behind me. It was like one of the most epic things, and we sat there and we laughed about that for like a good, I reckon, half an hour of that footage, and it all got cut. I was like, no.
I'm so angry that we did not get that video. Hey, Paramount. Hey, right here. Hello.
Give it to us.
It's your favorite podcast, The Right Reality, the number one. The show that you get all of your ideas from. Release the fucking footage. You cowards, release the footage.
You could have got Ass of the Week, Troy. They took that away from
you. Yeah, Ass of the Week. Yeah, how did I not win one of them? I know it's only a small ass, but small asses are good too, Mixie.
Don't get mad at me. It's the shots that they put into the show. If I had gotten a strip tease with toilet paper dollar bills, it would have been a no-brainer.
Easily would have been a no-brainer. If anything, again, they're trying to hold you back. They put
that's not me.
Yeah, that's not on us. That's definitely on production.
And that's where it's funny about the whole edit and stuff, because I feel like nobody really gets a bad edit. You just get they just can exaggerate your personality traits as they please. And they choose, if you get a bad edit, it is a bad edit sort of, but it's also just them showing a certain personality trait of yours that they think it will either make you a villain or somebody cool.
Yeah.
And it's funny looking at how much they cut, because if you see, like, if they had given me a bad edit, and then you go and see me do a striptease, it's like, oh, that's fun. Like, we didn't see that.
I actually like that guy now.
We just saw him in the house doing nothing the whole time and having no personality. Like Theo did a bit this season, when Theo is really funny and has a lot more to give, but and he did so much funny stuff that got edited out in the whole house.
That sucks.
So much. Yeah, like that spa scene. He did a lot of those sorts of things, but because they were so focused this time round on the game drama and what was happening inside the game, he unfortunately didn't get a good or an edit at all, really.
Gosh.
So yeah, they did cut a lot of the fun in the house, which I've heard a lot of people. Yeah,
Same.
it was good. It was good. It was fun. Like I had
Tell
my
us
undies
who we
on
need to
still,
talk
mind
to.
you, but so it was only striptease down to our undies, but it was still fun and and good. It was, yeah.
I don't see why they
need to
can't put
talk
that
to.
on Paramount Plus as a bonus clip.
Oh, they should. And that's what I mean. They need to go back and put half the stuff that went down in that house as bonuses. Because there was a lot of other fun stuff that happened. And that's
I mean, people are listening right now. There used to be another show after the reunions called The Shit They Should Have Shown, which was all those type of things. They clearly don't do that anymore for God knows what reason. But that would have definitely been the number one thing in there. Just the last question about the final, because I know it's
we're in the final. How did we end up in a striptease?
That was much more entertaining.
How do we get anywhere in this podcast? Who the fuck knows?
So if you were to rank on level of toughness, because obviously doing your ninja stuff, some of that stuff is like incredibly hard to train for, and then you're actually doing it and you get one go at it. When you're doing a final, how does that kind of rank versus your other stuff? So if you rank the final that you just did for World Championship on a scale from like 1 to 10 of like the hardest thing you've ever done, where does that kind of rank versus your Aussie final? Was it twice as hard, 3 times as hard, you know?
Oh, it was at least twice as hard as the Aussie one. Because sleep after getting full bellies is pretty hard, and it was like the torment. Because what they didn't tell you as well about that shock collar, and the reason we were helping keep each other up, was because that wasn't the only punishment. If you got shocked by the shock collar, you would then have to go out and stand on a steam pipe, and it was freezing out there, like this tiny little steam pipe. It would have been like that wide, and you had to get shocked. You had to be out there for an hour, and you'd get shocked every 15 minutes for an hour.
Oh, what?
And if you fell off, that'd add another 15 minutes for every time you fell off. And
this sounds like torture. I don't think they could do this. Now I know why they film in these different locations.
But there was more to it than that. It got worse.
What?
You're in a pair, yeah? So that while your partner who fell asleep is doing that, so the person is on a steam pipe, the person that fell asleep, your partner who had done nothing wrong has to eat 2 Carolina Reapers. Not one, 2.
Fuck that shit. Fuck
2.
that
So that's why
shit.
Everyone except for, I felt like I would have done it, but everyone was like, if we fall asleep, like if their partner falls asleep, they're like, we're quitting. We ain't eating 2 Carolina Reapers. Because we'd heard all season how much it affected Darrell, and he'd been telling us the whole season how bad the Carolina Reapers were, and we saw it, that we were like, man, if anybody has to eat these, they're out. And that's why we're all so in on it together type thing, because we were like, that is fucked. Like, that is
Did you guys have to sign extra paperwork for that? I feel like that's just like outside of the realm of what they should be legally allowed to do.
Look, no, we didn't have to sign extra paperwork for that. We'd already signed our last way, Mixie. Come on.
Oh, you're right. I know. God, that is crazy, though.
Yeah, so they missed out on all that. But anyway, so for me, the final of Worlds was a lot harder than the Australian one. Like, we ran probably 42 miles by the end of it total. There was a bit of swimming. There was rowing. You missed out on a rowing segment. We had to row to the middle of the lake and get more puzzle pieces or answer codes. Like, there was just so much. There was bike riding. I felt like that was, and off no sleep as well, that was a lot harder than the Australian one. And it was probably one of the harder things I've done in life. I would probably put it at a 9 out of 10. For me, hard things for me that I hate is like sickness. I don't mind injuries and that sort of thing, but if I get sick, I'm a big sook. I hate getting sick, like flus and those sorts of things real bad, because I just hate it because I can't control it. I can't see where the pain's coming from. I don't know what's going on with my body. So for me, that's frustrating. At least if I'm running like a final like that, and if I'm cramping or I roll my ankle, I know where the pain's coming from. So for me, I'd have to give it a 9 out of 10. I think it was harder than Ninja physically. But Ninja has this big mental toll where you get one shot, you've trained for it all year, you fall in, and you're done.
That's it.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
So mentally, Ninja, like, I'm going to struggle to find the challenge of Ninja again. But physically, yeah, that was like one of the hardest things I've done. Like 42 miles in 2 days with no sleep is full on. Like full on.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So simple question before we move on to something else. If they call you again, are you saying yes?
Hell no. I'll say no. No, yeah, of course I am. Yeah, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I had a ball. And I think as the season progressed, I felt more and more comfortable in myself. And you started to see a bit of how I am normally come out.
Yeah.
Like, with the whole yes thing and just being like, yes, like I'm not copying your shit. Like that's a lot more, like I'm still a nice dude and I still love everybody and I still treat them like humans, but I also get to a point where I'm like, nah, like I've had enough of you. Let's move on.
Yeah,
like,
you did it to me at the beginning of this.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing it to you the whole time. Now look at me. How the turns have tabled. Now Mixie's calling me out.
Oh, yep. Uh-huh.
I see how it is. No, that's fair. But yeah, so yeah, I'll definitely do another one, and I feel like there's still a lot more story to give, and a lot more things can change, and we'll see if they want me back. They probably won't, but maybe they will. I don't know.
We understand what they're doing from a TV perspective. They're trying to make a TV show. We also feel like, I think the people who have been watching this for a long time, I mean, I've been watching for God knows how long at this point. We want people such as yourself who are great competitors on the show because that makes the show better. But we do understand they're making a TV show, and when you're trying to make the flagship show, which is like 20 fucking episodes, it all can't be competition because at a certain point, people get tired of that. So we understand they're trying to make storylines. They have to come up with some dumb idea of the show. Oh, double agents, ride or dies. Just put good fucking people on the show. That's all we fucking care about.
It's not that hard.
We're going to move on. This is the point of the show where we need your help. Okay? So we have learned 2 slangs from Australia this season. We learned Grant saying something about like, don't be a pork chop or something like that. I forget exactly what it was.
Chop?
Carry on like a pork chop.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
Carrying
it's a
on
regular
like a
saying in Australia.
Okay, so how would you use this? How would you use that, if you were talking about us?
So a good example is Mixie carrying on like a pork chop.
I knew it was going to be me.
So, like, she would be carrying on about a pork chop about Sarah and Emily. Oh, sorry, am I allowed to call them that? What is it? What do you call them?
You can call them that. I won't, but
the manager of Arby's.
The manager of Arby's, yes.
He does listen.
So you carry on a bit like a pork chop about them, So like you're always you're always trying to put them down. You're always trying to whatever. And I get it; it's fun, but you're carrying on about like a pork chop about it.
Yeah.
So that would be
okay.
That's how it would be used.
We got it.
So I'm like, Mixie's carrying on about carrying on like a pork chop about Emily again.
Okay.
So it's basically just keep bringing it up. Let's, instead of like they're just keeping it on, like let's move on.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people in the comments agree with you.
Yeah. We also learned.
It's okay. It's fun. You bag everyone equally. That's what I love about you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look, we might have been at odds at the start of this podcast, but I reckon by the end of it, we can come together because
I think
at least you bag everyone equally, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Shaggy. I appreciate you.
Do you feel like other podcasts were not doing such things?
No, I don't. That's why I actually really like your podcast. It's very unique in the sense that
Thank you.
You really like to take the piss and have a bit of fun. And that's what I was most excited for coming on
this.
That's
what we're all about.
Just having a bit of fun with it.
Absolutely. You're going to love this next section.
Anybody can sit here and go,
well, they it was such a great competition they had with the blah, 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 blah.
Anybody can fucking do that. But
Not
where
us.
we shine is that type of shit, especially Nick's over there. Fire.
But unfortunately with that, you do get your 1-star, 0-star reviews occasionally.
Yeah, I do.
But I love it how you go after them too.
Yeah.
Nobody is safe, ever.
Nobody's safe. Yeah. Try to leave a 1-star review. No, don't do that, actually. Don't do that. Please don't
do that. You can't drop the rating.
I will fucking find
you. Can't drop the rating. Tim Apple. Me and Tim Apple are cool now. We're at 4.5 again, so don't do that. Leave a bad review on YouTube, and then we'll go after you that way. That's what we'll do. Yeah, that's what we'll do. All right. So we also learned one of my favorite ones of the year, at the very end of the season was get stuffed. Get stuffed. And everybody loved it. I asked Greaseback Bun Babe in her TikTok live. I said, we were interviewing Troy coming up. What should we ask him? What should we say? And she was like, just tell him to get stuffed in a joking manner. So we love that one. And I think you said another one during this podcast, safe as a house, which I haven't heard before.
Yeah. I don't know where that one. Safe as houses. It means like, because a house is obviously pretty hard to get rid of a house. Like they can burn down and stuff.
Well built.
But yeah, it's a pretty safe area. Yeah, and you're safe inside of it generally. And so safe as houses normally means, you're protected.
You're protected. Got it. So is there anything else that we can use on a daily basis? Something fun like get stuffed or the pork chop one. Is there any other good ones that you're like, these guys got to know what it is and just take over the streets of Los Angeles with these terms?
Oh, yeah. So there was a good one that Grant said. I don't think it got aired, though. It was when at the elimination, the first elimination, when Kiki got sent in, and he goes at the podium, and nobody understood it except the Australians, because everyone thought it was a good... he was saying it was a good thing, but he said, the whole situation's a bit how you going. Everyone's like, okay. Oh, so that's a good thing. Like the whole situation's good, and everyone was a bit confused. But how are you going is actually opposite. So if you say like this podcast is a bit how you going, it means it's a bit average because you only ever ask somebody how you're going when they're feeling a bit shitty. Does that make sense? So that's where that saying's coming from. So yeah, so it's like it's a bit how you going. You know, the whole situation's a bit how you going, it's a bit shit. So we'd use that a bit in the house and explain that as well. And I reckon that's a great one.
I like
use
that.
On your
I like that a lot. I will. Everybody else is
okay.
a bit how you going, not us. We're the number one.
Look at that. What a ringing endorsement.
Straight away.
I got it already.
Love it.
Full Aussie.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
Hey!
Aussie.
All right, do you have one more that's that we should be using as well?
Something about drinking. Oh, yeah, getting on the sauce.
Oh, I
getting
like that.
on the sauce.
Yeah, getting on the sauce. So like when you're going out for a beer and you want to get drunk. Yeah, I'm going out in the sauce tonight.
I like that.
I don't know how it came from, but that's what it is, and that's what it means.
That sounds so much better than being like, yeah, I'm going to go black out because I'm sad. You just say you're getting on the sauce.
Yeah, I'm getting on the sauce. So,
I love it.
Yeah, and you know, getting on the sauce could mean other things as well. It just means you're going to go out and party hard.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're going.
So it covers drinking and other things.
Extracurriculars is how I like to refer to them.
Extracurricular activities, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now is literally something I've been looking forward to this whole time.
Oh.
I have come up with a game that I have called Who Would You Stuff? The game where we list off what we would stuff into someone's mouth and you tell us who will...
Get stuffed. Get stuffed.
Get stuffed.
Get stuffed.
Are you ready to play the game?
Okay, yeah, I've forgotten the rules already, but yep.
Okay, I'll repeat the rules. This is...
I'm so excited about this segment, I forgot what was involved in it.
So much is happening. It's okay.
All right, cool.
The game is called Who Would You Stuff? The game where we list off what we would stuff into someone's mouth and you tell us who will...
Get stuffed. Get stuffed.
Get stuffed.
Get stuffed.
Do you understand the game now?
I think so.
Okay.
If I stuff it up straight away, then I don't understand the game, but let's just get started.
Okay. The first item. A packet of poorly cooked bacon.
Yeah.
Who will be getting stuffed with the packet of poorly cooked bacon?
Darrell.
Amazing.
Hey, Darrell, guess what?
Get stuffed. Get stuffed.
Get stuffed.
Get stuffed.
Amazing. A packet of perfectly cooked bacon with proper cooking technique.
Theo.
Oh, Theo.
Get stuffed. Get stuffed.
Get stuffed.
Get stuffed.
Okay. A jar.
Each time I
It really
play
does. It only gets better. A jar of Vegemite.
Oh, it'd have to be an American. Johnny Bananas.
Oh,
Amazing.
Johnny Bananas.
How about you get stuffed? Get stuffed.
Get stuff.
Get stuffed. Because he would hate it, or maybe he'd love it. But, but he would give a good reaction because Vegemite is an acquired taste.
Absolutely.
It is an acquired taste. You can't just like be like, oh, I'm going to try this. No. You got to be careful.
You got to, yeah. All right,
Okay.
that's fun.
5 packets of Pop Rocks. Do you know what Pop Rocks are?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're the popping candy.
Yeah.
5
Yeah,
packets of them.
Kellyanne.
Kellyanne.
How about you get stuffed? Get stuffed.
Get stuff.
Get stuffed.
Amazing. A liter of Coke and a pack of Mentos.
Oh, Emily.
Emily.
How about you get stuffed? Get stuffed.
Get stuff.
Get stuffed. I just say I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. But I got to say somebody's name.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. This is
You're-
the game.
you're
It's
playing
a
by
game.
the rules of the game.
I'm here, guys.
Yeah, you're just a bystander.
Yeah.
Okay. A 5-day-old cold Aussie pie.
It's just been sitting out. It's cold. There's been flies near it. You know.
You can repeat.
There's only one person who could handle that without dying, and that would have to be Grant.
Grant.
Stopping it.
Grant.
How about you get stuffed? Get stuffed.
Get stuff.
Get stuffed.
And last but not least, an Arby's beef and cheddar.
Oh. Ha. Come on. Really? Sarah.
Get stuffed. Get stuffed.
Get stuff.
Get stuffed.
What a game. Wow, you killed it.
Oh, mate,
Oh, well
you set me up
done.
for a few there nicely.
Yeah, I did. I had to. Oh, we always do ask also at the end of our show, pineapple on pizza. Yes, no, maybe.
Come on, that's not a question. Everyone knows the answer's no.
Oh, have you tried it?
Yeah, I've tried it, and look, I asked without pineapple, and if I get it, I'll still eat the pizza.
Okay.
But it's a fruit. It don't belong on pizza.
It's kind of nice, though.
So anyway, I'm a no.
He wants to move off that
I
question.
just don't like
He's
cooked
like,
fruit.
"Oh, no, get
I just don't like cooked fruit at all. Yeah, get stuffed. Cooked fruit's bad.
stuffed.
Even like, see, now I'm about to be really controversial.
Go ahead.
I don't even like apple pies or apple crumble because it's cooked fruit. Not a fan. Not a fan of cooked fruit.
I don't like pie either at all. I'm in agreement with you.
I wouldn't go as far as saying not liking pies though. That's a bit
Pie.
That's a bit full on. That's not
Well,
good.
Yeah.
I thought we would.
going
become
on like a
friends,
pork
but
chop
I'm not
about
sure.
it. So,
I'm not sure we can be after that. Man, pies are the best thing ever.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna be friends until I watch your pole wrestle. So,
Yeah, we won't
Yeah.
be. Yeah, I'm not happy about
we
that.
are gonna
Still.
be.
Still, I'm holding a grudge.
Okay, well, I'll let you know in 5 minutes after I watch it.
Good, and I want to see a message with a written apology.
There will be.
saying sorry. You're the best, and I love you.
Dear
That's what I want
Shaggy,
to
that
be.
one night at bed. Yeah, I got you. I'll get you a good note.
Oh, this is just
God.
ridiculous.
Yeah. It is.
Well, thanks a lot for getting on and doing this. Enjoy your Sunday. We're going to enjoy the rest of our Saturday over here. And I think if you're coming over here to visit Greaseback Bun Babe, I think we're just up the road if she's still in San Diego. Or is she in Florida now? I can't remember where she's at.
You don't have to out her.
I think she's in LA somewhere, isn't she?
Okay.
Oh, great.
Well,
That's where we are.
That's what I
we'll meet
thought.
up with you. We'll meet
That's
up
what
with
I
you. We'll go
We'll
get a
get
drink.
sauced.
We'll get the sauce going.
We'll
Yeah.
get on the
Get on the
sauce.
sauce.
Yeah.
We're going to get it on the sauce together. Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. I
guys.
hope to see you on another season soon.
No,
Yep.
thanks for having me. See yous.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, wasn't that just an absolute blast? What a dime he is. I love him so much.
That was one of, I know we say this every time, you guys probably don't believe it. That was one of the most fun times I've ever had interviewing somebody because he gets it. Like,
He does.
He gets it. And he was listening to us before we were, what a fucking peach. And he
Love
was
it.
like, the very first thing he's like, no. Let me clap back about that fucking bacon. Don't bury me with the bacon. That was all Darrell and his piss poor bacon operation.
We learned so much.
So
we grew together so much. It was an absolute blast. Like I said before, can't wait to have him back on when he's on for another season, because I think all of us can agree we need more Shaggy in our life.
We do, and I can't wait to go out sometime and just say, hey, I'm getting on the sauce, you know?
Yeah, we're going to get on the sauce with him.
Yeah, all of the things he taught us, and we've learned and grown, and we appreciate that. Special programming announcement from The Right Reality.
Wee woo, wee woo.
Special programming announcement. You guys have been wondering what we're going to do. Are we waiting for the new Challenge USA? Where's All Stars? Calm down. Here's what we're doing. We're going back to an old reliable. We're going back to the island of temptation, baby. It's Temptation Island. We are back. Us and Mr. Marky Mark hanging out, getting ready to see if people are getting tempted. You don't want to tempt me.
I can't wait.
Mixie, I hope they have the same theme song.
I don't know. It's a new house. They added something where some light turns on when people are touching each other at the other house. Yes. I think it's going to be a great season. I do think this was a needed addition to add another layer. I feel good about this season.
And I think the button's not going to light up as many times as we think it's going to light up.
I don't know.
I think at most it's lighting up 2 times.
Okay, well, you changed
it on the record. What did I say? 1?
When we talked originally off air, you said that there's no way it lights up more than once, and I disagree.
Okay, I'll stick to that. I'll go 1. I say it lights up 1 time.
Okay. Can't wait for you to be wrong.
So if it lights up more than 2 times, or 2 times or more, I'm wrong. I'll admit it. I'll come on here. I'll give an apology. I'll step back from social media. As usual.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm going to manifest more than 1.
You manifest. I'll just do normal things because I'm a regular person.
Okay.
And we'll get there. Here's the thing. There'll be no smash or pass for this cast because they're probably all hot.
Yeah.
Because they're on an island trying to tempt each other. You know, there's probably not a bad one in the bunch. But we'll see how we get it. Hopefully we have great nicknames we can give out, like Seashells from last year.
I'm sure we will.
You know, just fantastic stuff. And maybe we can get, some special guest, perhaps, that we know who might have been on last year to be a guest every once in a while to give us some inside info. Maybe he can be our inside reporter, our Temptation Island insider.
Ooh,
how sports channels have. We're going to go to our NFL insider, Adam Schefter. No, we got to get a Temptation Island insider. So we'll see about that. But Temptation Island, it starts this coming Wednesday. So if you're listening this week, be sure USA on the 14th at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. So that's what we're doing.
Yes.
Hope you guys are having a good time. We love you all. We've seen the reviews. We'll get to the reviews on the Temptation Island recap. We appreciate you. Make sure you just go over to YouTube. If you're not watching this there, just give it a little click.
Yeah.
Like, and then comment that we're awesome and Troy's awesome. That's it. That's all we need to do.
That'd be great.
Thank you guys. We appreciate you. We love you. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.